I have never regretted buying a tablet, pretty much except for the iPad mini. But it wasn't the iPad mini's fault. I couldn't find a purpose for it. I thoroughly love working on tablets, and there's so many different use cases for a tablet. The last tablet that I have that I'm looking to replace was the iPad Pro, the original one. And looking at Samsung's lineup just to fill out our Samsung ecosystem has always been a priority. The Samsung Galaxy Tab S9 FE was a tablet that I decided to pick up because of its price. I mean, it launched at about like $450. I picked up mine for like 10,000 Rand, which is close to roughly that price. There are some sales going around at the moment, especially now that the S10 series is coming out. And I really wanted to get the 5G model, and there's some really good prices on that at the moment. Of course, there's the, Tab S9 FE Plus, but I just needed something that was a little bit smaller, and I think this actually kind of hits the price range perfectly for its capabilities. There's a bunch of reasons why I picked this one up. It actually hasn't really disappointed me yet for those particular reasons, and there's a couple of reasons why you probably shouldn't be getting an S9 FE if there's different use cases that you have. So I'm going to get to that in this video, let you know a little bit more about what I find the most useful, what I am using this tablet for, and why I love tablets so much. Firstly, I love working on a tablet because they are portable. I'm able to take this to a coffee shop and just graft on it. It's basically a mini computer. There's capacity for a keyboard and a mouse, especially with DEX Mode on a Samsung device. And it's got 5G. I've got the model with the SIM tray, with the 5G SIM tray, which is awesome, which means that it's something that most notebooks actually don't have. And it's as small as a book in many ways, so I can sit on a plane, I can edit YouTube videos, I can watch YouTube videos on it really comfortably. You can download offline YouTube videos, I can draw, and I can even just do some ad hoc work while I'm in flight. I also love digital art. It's really important to me. And because I had the iPad Pro, that was my focused on Procreate, and that's kind of like a default for a lot of artists, but I think a lot of artists aren't giving Samsung a chance here, because this is a very, very powerful device. So let me start off with the good stuff. The FE has got an incredible display. It's not OLED, but it's a Samsung display. And although it's an LCD display, it's a really, really good LCD display. There's a great argument that Brad Colbo makes about this in his video. LCD does not equal a bad screen, but you can get really terrible LCD displays. So it kind of gives all the other LCD displays a really bad name. It looks fantastic when you're using it. It's also not laminate. So when an OLED display is laminate, it's as close to the glass as possible. It does look better, especially if you are an artist. But I must say, I've barely noticed it. I don't think it's something that's worth paying a premium for unless this is like a professional device that you use illustration on. And also, because it's not laminate, it's easier to replace. If the screen cracks, you can just get a new one. A laminated screen, once you crack it, it's gone. It's tickets. You're going to have to get a brand new device. It's also, unlike my iPad Pro and a lot of the iPad Airs at this price range for that matter, it's 90 Hertz. I wanted a higher refresh rate. I would have liked 120 Hertz refresh rate. The S9 would have been an obvious choice, but it's literally double the price, if not more at the moment, which makes it a hard sell. You're getting an extra, 30 frames a second, which, yes, it is a lot and it's great. But again, I'm not a professional artist. I used to be a professional storyboard artist, but I'm no longer that anymore. I make YouTube videos and do a lot of TV work. So I don't necessarily need a device that's going to have 120 Hertz. I would like one because I do notice those things. And when it comes to illustration, it does make a huge difference. The iPad Pro is 60 Hertz. That's 60 frames a second. I can feel what I'm drawing. It's also slowing down because it's getting old. And it's just a device that feels completely inferior even to this as a device that is pretty low spec. Low spec is the wrong word. It's medium spec. You're looking at the S6 range or the S6 Lite. Those are the more low spec ones, but this is a medium spec one that you're getting like great features for price wise that are in the S9. Another amazing thing is that Samsung's tablets all come with the S Pen, and this isn't just any ordinary pen. This is a pen that they've designed with Wacom. So if you've got a Wacom tablet, I've got a Wacom One, that pen, that stylus, works on your tablet. And in fact, I have an S24 Ultra, which I'm filming with right now. The pens all work across platforms, so I can either use the S Pen on my phone and drop it onto my tablet, or use the tablet's S Pen on my phone. If you activate it, by the way, you've got to make sure that you can do that. At first, I was a little bit confused. I was like, why isn't this working? It's in the S Pen settings. But it works, which is great. So if you've got a Samsung phone that facilitates a stylus, you should be able to do this. The only exception here is the Fold, because that is a softer screen and that requires a special kind of stylus. If you're an iPad owner, you'll know that you have to pay like upwards of like 3,000 Rand for the Apple Pencil, which kind of feels extortionate now that you can get like a 10,000 Rand tablet and then like a third of the price is a stylus that goes with it. But you don't have to. It comes straight out of the box from day one. You can start using it. It's pretty phenomenal. Another thing is that it's water resistant, so you can take this into the bath if you want to and put this on shoot. If you're using this as an external display for your camera or whatever the case is, most environments are safe for the Tab S9 FE. So like, it's one of those things that's compact. I can use this quite comfortably as another monitor for a camera, but also just use it in the bath or in the swimming pool and know that it's going to be pretty okay. It is water resistant, so I wouldn't dunk it in the bath for too long or anything, but it does mean that it can get wet and you don't have to worry about that. A lot of Kindles out there don't have those kind of features, so it really does add up. You can read comic books in the bath without having paper getting damaged or your device getting damaged. I really like this size, this 10-inch display, 11-inch display, because it's easy to hold in my hand. I can draw quite comfortably with this without hurting my wrists. I can lie down on the couch and just like plonk it up and draw. But also it fits really comfortably within a bag and is a device that is not my notebook. I've got a notebook that I will use, but that's a little bit cumbersome sometimes. I've got a Surface Pro that I'll take to coffee shops if I'm doing long sessions of work. But if I'm quickly need to jot something down, I can throw this into my bag and just kind of work. That's why I didn't opt in for the FE Plus. I do generally like smaller tablets. That said, if you are a professional artist or you taking this stuff quite seriously, I would look at getting the bigger units. The big downside here is that the RAM SKUs on these are very low, which sucks. So you're not getting the best performance out of the original FE unless you go for the FE Plus. They're a lot more powerful. One of the big reasons why I've made the switch recently has been software availability. So a lot of software that we use to illustrate on iPads like Procreate just isn't available on, these devices like on Samsung or any Android device, which is extremely disappointing. You won't find proper Adobe software like Fresco on here, for instance, or like a really good Photoshop version here. It's only available on iPad, which sucks, guys. Wake up, especially the Procreate guys. That said, a lot of alternatives and really inexpensive alternatives have started cropping up for Samsung devices and Android devices, which I really like. My favorite one right now is HiPaint. It's kind of like a Procreate clone, if you like, for the lack of a better word. And obviously, Clip Studio Paint. Clip Studio Paint comes with a monthly sub, which I don't really like, and I'm not like a massive fan of the UI. There is a simple mode, and if you've got a Samsung phone and a tablet, you can use your phone as an external like toolbar to those devices. Great. I just think that Clip Studio is a little bit too involved for the kind of work that I do, but I really like what they've done with HiPaint, and I've actually bought a couple of the tiers already just to get into it and use it, and it's perfectly suitable for my processes. You can even animate in it, which is great. It's not as good as the animation in Fresco and Procreate, but it's sufficient and it works. And I am holding my breath. Look, I don't think Procreate's going to come to Android anytime soon, but I'm really hoping that Fresco does. I think Adobe has a shot at taking over the Android market, being the size that they are and the power that they are, when Procreate is just not stepping into this space. And I really think they should capitalize on that. They need to wake up, but they're too busy doing like AI nonsense and people are really upset with it. Anyway, and the software that's on it is excellent. The note software is brilliant, especially with the Galaxy AI integrations, being able to transcribe notes. The size of the screen is great. If you are a student studying now, I cannot recommend this enough when it comes to the notes. For you to write your text and for it to automatically convert to text information so that you can copy paste that into other apps or whatever the case is great. And with Galaxy AI, you can record and transcribe an entire lecture and then take that information and summarize it so you get the key points out of it and make sure that that's in your study notes. If you've got a Samsung device, you're probably going to be like the person in class that everybody is taking their notes from because the software is really, really good. The battery life, in my experience, is sufficient. It works pretty well. I get a good, I think it's 4 hours of drawing in HiPaint. HiPaint has got like a mode which is like a hardware accelerator mode, and I think it's crashed a couple of times on me. It hasn't destroyed the artwork that I've done. It just kind of like crashes and I come back. I'm left off where I was, which is great. I didn't lose any progress. But that leads me to one of my biggest gripes with this is that it doesn't have the best processor. It's running an Exynos processor, something that actually you'll probably find in an A series. It's sufficient for a lot of daily tasks, being able to browse the internet, dual split windows, or be able to do, basic work, doing your schoolwork or drawing or whatever the case is. But there's two downsides to that. The first one is battery life. It's gonna, a good processor knows how to juggle and manage any battery capacity, regardless of what it is. So the better the processor, the better your battery consumption is going to be, regardless of the battery size. And games are, pretty middling on here. I've got an S24 Ultra. I do play like Wild Rift. I prefer to play that on my phone, and I wouldn't opt in to play Card Mobile or Wild Rift on a tablet, although you can, right? You can probably play this pretty well at 60 FPS, but I'm getting like 120 FPS on my phone. So it's not necessarily a gaming device primarily, although you can game on it. I just don't think you're going to be playing at the best quality that you can. And there are, better tablets like the S9, not the FE, to get the best performance out of it. Another really cool thing that they've did, and they really didn't have to do this, so Samsung, thank you. They made this compatible with all the existing S9 accessories, so keyboards and covers and all that kind of stuff, which is a huge win. A lot of these smaller SKUs come out and there's just no compatibility with any of the covers or keyboards or like gear that you can get, bags. It's just, they make something weird about it so that it just doesn't fit, but it does. So it means that all the existing and all the legacy accessories that have, entered the market, you can buy those and, they will work with your device. The only problem is that they are really expensive, especially the first party stuff. They could have made them a little bit more affordable. I really wish they had made them a little bit more affordable, but it's really nice that they've done that. And third party stuff. So you can get like really cheap third party Galaxy S9 products. I've got this really cheap cover that I bought, and it's not for an FE, it's for an S9, and it works, which is excellent. It even has space for the pen to connect in the right place because the pen even sticks at the same spot. I bought the 128 gigs of storage, which is very small, but the amazing thing that Samsung does that iPad does not is that it's got expandable storage, which is awesome. So you're able to, upgrade this up to 1 terabyte. If you can get yourself a very cheap terabyte micro SD card, you can just dump it in there and you're good to go. It also has something called DEX. Now there's a pro and a con here. So for those of you who are in the know and have Samsung devices, DEX is the ability to plug your phone or your tablet into another monitor and you get a mode called DEX Mode. So you can use that monitor as like a desktop. DEX is like running Windows on your machine. So a mouse and a keyboard work really well. You can have different like windows open. It's very cool, and it's especially cool if you've got a phone. This does not support DEX outside of the USB-C, which is wild to me. I don't know why they removed that ability. It could be a processor limitation, but you can switch on DEX from the device so that you can use DEX mode here and turn your actual screen into DEX. But you can also use this as a second screen for your devices. So it does support that, although it doesn't support DEX mode. So I don't know really why they did that. But yeah, it's a double whammy, but at the same time, it's not a huge deal to me. I do have an S24 Ultra, which can do DEX mode, so I can use DEX mode on a second monitor if I'd like to with my existing device. I might not want to do that with my tablet, but for those of you who bought or planning on buying a Tab S9 FE to do that, unfortunately, I can't. My biggest gripe so far has been the processor. I would love to do more editing, video editing on here. Being able to upgrade that SD card to a terabyte means that I can film stuff on my camera, dump it onto the tablet, and just graft and cut and edit and export. But it's a lot slower than it could be. Although CapCut works really well, I know a lot of people use other software, Filmora, other video editing software on their devices. I think that CapCut is probably the best mobile-like editor that has the best performance on lower end chipsets. Oh, by the way, this is aftermarket thing that doesn't come with MagSafe. I just added this. This entire package makes me extremely happy. I said at the beginning that I've never regretted buying a tablet. I do not regret buying this guy because it's just packed with everything. There is the fact that I can get everything I want out of this device, the pen, the software, the accessories, the portability. It makes it like a Swiss Army knife for productivity for me. So I'm very, very happy with this. Not everybody will be. It isn't going to be for everybody. If your primary use is like high-end, heavy load games, maybe you should be looking at the S9, or if you want to edit a lot of video or like more long-form YouTube videos, maybe look at something like the S9 Ultra, or wait and see what happens with the S10, because I've got a feeling the S10 is going to be great. But all in all, I'm extremely, extremely happy. I haven't even spoken about the camera sets, but like I've never really used the cameras on these devices, so it's never been a major concern for me. But the fact that it has these things makes tablets like really worthwhile. Yeah. And I'm really glad that it's like in the ecosystem, Another cool thing that it does is something called multi-control, where if you've got two Galaxy devices like a tablet or the laptop, but I don't have the laptop, I've got the tablet and the phone. If you've got a mouse and a keyboard connected to it, you can literally drag and drop between the two devices, which is awesome. Again, if you're working at coffee shops or mobile working, if you take some video footage on your phone and you don't want to like quick share it, you can just literally drag and drop it, or it's just such a great way to be productive and like have like a full ecosystem of productivity. I think a lot of people take a dunk on Samsung's ecosystem because they don't know that it exists or how powerful it is. So yeah, very, very cool tablet, especially for the price. If you want to pick up anything from the video that I've mentioned, I've put links in the description. Just know why you're getting it. Again, not for everybody. If you know why you want this and I've checked the boxes for you, please use the link in the description below. Otherwise, I'll see you in another video. Cheers.